Welcome back to the Eric Krown crypto channel, wishing you a happy early start to this nice Saturday morning over here as we get prepared to analysize the closure for CME on the weekly and also get prepared for, of course, the weekly closure for spot price action on Bitcoin tomorrow night at, I believe it is 7 p.m. Eastern time, although I don't really know how the current daylight saving times work, so maybe it's 8 p.m. Eastern time. Anyways, more importantly, I wanted to come at this video from a bit of a different angle. As Saturday, I like to kind of try different things, and on this particular video, I want to come up with or see if in a more in a more direct sense, is there what sort of hopium is left at this current level. And I believe that we can discover a few pieces of hopium, at least still. But other than that, I still want to stand by the prior analysis that we've been having throughout this past week, as that is still going to be taking the pole position here. But there are a few things of interest. Anyways, of course, I should give the notice to the buyback promotion going on. They got 0% on maker fees for derivative contract orders. Plus, you can get the July for free for the first 30 days if you follow the directions in the link in the description below. And then, of course, because Bybit and basically all exchanges are going KYC and withdrawing from Canada and all this good stuff, Bybit does actually have a decentralized exchange arm, which you may or may not be able to use. It's called Apex, and there is an affiliate link in the description below as well that will award you specifically 5% off of your lifetime fees. And there'll be some coming there'll be some coming upgrades on top of that as well. Probably later this month. Anyways, let's just jump right into it, starting off with the bit of hopium. And I wanted to bring back our good old friend, the Gaussian channel, on the weekly time frame right here. And on the Gaussian channel on the weekly, you can see that Bitcoin has had a nice spike down to the bottom side, or not the bottom side, but the mean band of the Gaussian channel, again, on the weekly, on that move to 25,800 or so. And thus far, it's actually had about $1,000 bounce, so not bad right there. And we can essentially run with the same interpretation as before with the mean band of the Gaussian channel, meaning that, not to put too many fucking alliterations and puns in this one, but meaning that as long as Bitcoin's above it, does there exist some hopium? Yeah, there does. Meaning that Bitcoin could potentially catch its legs right here, basically at that same wick that we did see to the downside. I guess this was on Friday, or let me actually just double check where exactly did this happen. Yeah, Friday. Specifically, and as long as Bitcoin's above it, it could still theoretically still kind of base off right here and play back up to the top side of the range, somewhere around low $30,000 territory, and then the same sort of interpretation essentially goes. But let me just go down to a different time frame here and show the relationship between what we have seen on the mean band, the top side band, and the bottom side band when we've seen the Gaussian channel turn red specifically. So what I want to call back to is something like this, where Bitcoin did play into the bottom end of the Gaussian channel, turned red obviously, reclaims the mean band right here, plays between the top side and the mean band, and then boom, busts on through the top side and then goes on through a pretty phenomenal run. But specifically this portion right here is what I really want to focus into, because of course you can see that Bitcoin did base off of the mean band a couple times, even after being rejected from the top side band. That was okay. And of course, as long as Bitcoin is above that mean band, well, upside more likely. And that's exactly what we saw in the prior iteration before that as well. Same thing over here, although this one's, a lot less painful, obviously. But again, reclaims the bottom side right here, reclaims the mean band right here, boom, top side, and busts on through for a pretty impressive run right there. And then of course we have the one coming in from 2014, 2015, same thing, reclaims the mean band, top side test. This one just busts on through as well. And then we have a similar interpretation over here to kind of the more recent one in March of 2020, where again, it reclaims the mean band right here, boom, free ride to the top side, plays between the mean band and the top side for a few weeks, and then busts on through. So, again, it is rather interesting that that anytime that we have seen Bitcoin reclaim that mean band on these higher term timeframes, it actually has not just gotten a free ride to the top side, but it's gotten a busting action above the top side as well. And in this case, if we were to see something like that, back above $30,000, probably looking at a move somewhere around 35, give or take a few bucks from that number. So this would be a bit of a bit of an anomaly right there if Bitcoin were to actually come back down, close below the mean band, and then very likely initiate a move to the bottom side of the Gaussian channel. Or at least that's kind of the interpretation that I'd be having, with bounces along the way. We've gone over the statistics on that several times in this past week, so I don't want to bore you with that yet again. We'll get to that when there's an update to come, maybe like earlier this coming week. But again, that would be kind of my hopium for right here, that hey, as long as Bitcoin's above the mean band, all good. And historically speaking, it's always actually broken out of the top side of it before coming back down. So, that would be a point in the Bulaw's case right there that essentially does hold, again, with the pivotal point at 25,800 or so, basically this week's low. Anyways, moving on here, I do want to get into the HVDR ranges. Going off the daily, as you can see, Bitcoin, bouncing off of the bottom side of the range on the daily. I mean, it's not like a super strong move in my opinion. More importantly, though, it does give us an interpretation to the upside as well. Look, as long as Bitcoin's especially below the mean the median over here, which is about $28,000, kind of hard chart to love in the short term. Again, that would give the impetus that if Bitcoin can reclaim that region, that would be a good early warning signal that Bitcoin is gonna move back up to the top side of the Gaussian channel, probably $30,000, and probably bust on through that as well. But kind of similar to the two-day time frame analysis that we were looking at throughout this past week, it's like, look, as long as we're below that region, it just downside's more likely. Downside's more likely right here, as we do start to see. I think volatility is starting to tick up a bit as well, but we're not really seeing any major range breaks, so it doesn't really give us too much to be going off of. Working that into stochastic momentum, I do want to start off with the daily time frame. Again, daily still showing downside pressure as long as Bitcoin's closing below 27,130. So again, it's not too far away from current price action. If Bitcoin could reclaim that region, close back above it essentially, then I guess that would be the prelude to the major warning signal that hey, Bitcoin bullers are going to take over here. But again, as long as Bitcoin's below this pivot, downside going to be more likely. 12-hour time frame, as we were witnessing yesterday, has gotten into the critical zone right here, and it's actually going to have a chance to cross the upside for the first time in a while, basically since early May, if Bitcoin can maintain closures above 26,600. So that would be again a point on the Bulaw's court right there. 6-hour time Bitcoin's trading above that level as of right now. 6-hour time frame, same thing, $26,000 even almost is going to be the magical number right there. Again, bouncing twice off of the critical zone essentially. 4-hour time frame, same thing I imagine. Yep, coming up from the critical zone right there. As volatility does cool off, $26,000 going to be the magical number on this one. And the hourly time frame is actually coming down here at 26,800 or 26,900 or so. So very, very short term. Probably see a little bit of an ebb and flow, but I don't think that's like the full focus of what we really want to be getting on into today. Anyways, again, the big ones are essentially this. Look, Bitcoin can continue to go sideways, I suppose. That's the hopium right now. Personally speaking, I actually don't think it's that likely. The reason why I say it's not that likely is just another, it's just another interpretation of this chart over here, the same way that we've been going over for I guess like the past week and a half now, where basically volatility versus stochastic momentum, does suggest that as long as this pivot is not being met to the upside, downside is going to be more likely. And we just got the new closure as of last night. So in this case, the number, the magical number to move stochastic momentum back up onto the 2-day time frame has moved down to 27,900. So that's a good thing, but still, quite far away from current price action, about $1,000. And obviously that one's not going to close tonight. It's going to close tomorrow night. And as long as that is pointed to the downside is just more likely. In fact, if we were to go over the statistics of this, about 81.5% of the time, the direction of the stochastic oscillator did correlate to the move, on volatility expansion, which that average move was about 27%. On the lower end, we've seen like mid-teens, let's say. On the upper end, we've seen like low 30s. So that could, that would theoretically put Bitcoin maybe somewhere just below 25 on the lower end, and maybe all the way down to like 21 on the upper end. But of course, Bitcoin already kind of did bounce. I mean, it's already kind of, made its way down to 25. It's in the upper 25s, obviously, but of course, next week, that number over here will start to move down yet again. The Gaussian channel mean band will probably go down to maybe, let's say, like low 25 rather than upper 25s. And, maybe that condition could be filled yet again. And maybe both the bulls and the bears kind of get their fill there, meaning that, Bitcoin does play at the downside move. It just essentially tests the mean band yet again, bounces off it, and then, tries the upside. But here's the thing, throughout this whole analysis and throughout the whole last week, while we have been talking about downside, I do want to be very deliberately clear that I don't think that this is like one massive major macro bull trap and Bitcoin's heading on to new all-time lows or anything like that. No, at least I don't have any reason to believe that as of right now. I do think that ultimately it's an opportunity. Whether Bitcoin essentially bottoms kind of right around here, maybe a slightly below 25, or whether it goes for like 23 or 21. That's kind of the main question in my head right now. And I suppose if the hopium situation is going to play out, we start to really see that one play out into early this coming week. So we should get clarity on that situation if it's going to be happening. I would say no later than Wednesday coming up, because that'll be another couple 2-day closures. So yeah, we should have a lot more information by then. Anyways, I think that's a good place for me to be leaving off this one. A little bit of a Saturday hopium video for you, or potential hopium, I guess, or at least the areas to be watching for hopium. And with that said, I want to wish you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully tomorrow.